Okay, it's the Hidden Training Part 2. I'm going to get right into it. Before any agreement was reached between Mr. Rosenthal and Mr. Walter White, I had established with Mr. Rosenthal that he would answer an unlimited number of questions with complete honesty and to the best of his ability. It was because of this understanding that I took issue with Mr. Rosenthal during the first stages of the interview and accused him of not being honest with me as it related to his response to my question. Do you have knowledge of when and why the story began about the Jews being God's chosen people? All right. That is when he said in part, most Jews do not like to admit it, but our God is Lucifer. So I wasn't lying. And we are his chosen people. Lucifer is very much alive. So, the God those so-called Jews worship is who? Lucifer. So they are the Jews that say they are Jews but do lie. All right, they are not Jews but do lie. All right, and the Most High said, "Behold, I shall make them the synagogue, the synagogue of Satan, and make them come and worship me before my feet." Before his feet is what? The land of Israel. Now the whole earth is the Most High's footstool. But before his feet is what? The land of Israel. The east gate of Jerusalem. Thus says the Bible. Alright? So we're going to get into this interview. Alright? As this goes to press, we still seek a governmental body to investigate Harold Rosenthal's allegations. My dictionary conveys such allegations as treason. We now pick up after the dispute during which the tape recorder has been turned off. Obviously, where the W appears, those are my words. Where the R appears, that indicates his comments. All right. Mr. Rosenthal, when true history is permitted to be published at large, when the truth actually surfaces, what do you expect the people of the world to do with you Jews? His thoughts. I thought we had concluded this interview. W. I'm concerned and the question seems to require your answer. R. We are all finished, White, and now you start to pump me again. I've already given you the tablets of stone and you want more. R. Never mind. You wouldn't understand anyway, you Christians. W. So now you damn me because I'm Christian. I thought we had tried to keep this on a business-like basis. Did we not? R. Mumbled exclamation by Rosenthal. W. Whatever that is or means. You're using words I've never heard before. Are you speaking English? R. I said. W. Will you spell it? R. Rosenthal spells Chnah, and briefly says it's a form of the basis of Talmud. Mr. R continues, let's not deal on this. We're not getting anywhere. Besides, we had concluded things, and that ends our agreement. W. Are you afraid to answer the question I posed? R. Who the hell do you think I am? I'm not afraid to answer any question, but I've given you enough information for a book. W. Did I not pay you as per our agreement? R. Yeah, sure, but again, you're wanting more. All right, you want my opinion as to what the people of the world are going to think when history is written? W. Well, I didn't pose the question exactly like that, but go ahead. R. I don't give a damn what the people will think. Besides, whenever that happens, you and I will be dead. Plain dead. Does that satisfy you? W. There are 2 or 3 questions among my notes, Mr. Rosenthal, which have yet to be answered, and one is quite important. R. What is that? W. The story about 6 million Jews supposedly cremated or murdered by Nazis. R. What about it? W. What do you know who or what Jewish organization created that big lie? R. No, I don't know anything about its authenticity. I don't think it's too important anyway. W. Mr. Rosenthal, you know better than that. What about the younger generation who is growing up believing this big lie and you say it's not important? R. It was an outgrowth of the war, and we all know that Hitler hated the Jews, so someone somewhere thought of exaggerating the number We know that many Jews were killed by Nazis. W. I'm sure you know that when World War II broke out, there were less than 250,000 Jews in all of Germany. Many thousands had already left Germany. R. So what? As I said before, the Jewish people are the cleverest people in the world. So somebody thought up a big number, and perhaps it grew until now the number of the Jews killed is 6 million. We have controlled the news media, and this is the great difference. Otherwise, your people could tell your big lie. W. Go brush it off. Go you brush it, Go you brush it off lightly, something of such enormity. Mr. R interrupted here, saying, my people have been taught to give consideration and attention to our teachers rather than to the words of your people and laws. W. You're living in America, Mr. Rosenthal. It is our duty to uphold the laws of our country. Your religion teaches you that you may take an oath, such as being inducted into political office, and if the oath displeases you, you can deny silently the fact that you have taken the oath. Now I have copies of the Jewish document called the Kol Nadri, and I have proven their authenticity. The Kol Nadri, all vowels, is found in the Talmud book Nadirim, vowels, and is recited each year in the synagogue on the Day of Atonement. It allows all future obligations, oath, or pledges a Jew may engage to be deemed absolved, foreign, annulled, and void, and made of no effect. This allowed Jews to lie, serve, cheat, etc. R. Well, all Jews don't practice that oath business, I'm sure. W. But they do practice it, do they not, with the rabbi's approval? Or to some extent, perhaps it was helpful to the individual. W. Is that not sinful? Or maybe to your way of thinking, I've told you, and I are different. We are different people. Our beliefs are entirely different. We have been raised that way for many centuries, so it is not a sin for us to take any oath and break it. It's our teaching. This point on the difference of character has been made by other Jewish writers and statesmen and is well supported in history and science. Yet, ironically, Christians continue to believe the Jewish lie that we are all the same or equal. W. I've possibly saved the most important question of all until now. R. Listen, White, if you're going on any further, my time is money. We made an agreement, and you're extending to beyond reason. You have it all on tapes, and remember that we agreed for you to take whatever you want from the tapes and your notes, but no reproduction of the tapes under any circumstances. They are to be destroyed. If you violate this, White, we'll cut your balls off, basically. W. Who are we? R. Just get smart and you'll find out. You don't want any trouble, and I don't either. You keep our agreement and no one gets hurt. Now give me the rest of my money, okay? W. I intend to keep our agreement to the letter, and you have my word of honor that these tapes will not go any further than my use in the preparation of the story. There is no misunderstanding. We agree on that, and I'll keep my word. You'll get your money in a minute. R. I have friends, White. I know a lot of people, and I don't want them to be reading things attributed to me that I didn't say. I don't give a damn what you or anybody else thinks, but I don't want lies printed. Only the question and answers of this interview. W. We understand each other perfectly in that regard, Mr. Rosenthal. Now, please, this question. R. Shoot. But remember, I need Las Vegas money. All right? W. Surely you must know somewhere in your schooling, or you have some kind of personal feeling or understanding as when and why the story that the Jews are God's chosen people. R. We are God's chosen people. Now, what God is he talking about? Lucifer. All right? Because God just means power. So they are power's chosen people. Whose power? The left-hand side. Lucifer. All right. W, do you really believe that Mr. Rosenthal? R, maybe I can explain, or perhaps Jake could give you a better answer. W, who is Jake? R, Jake Javits. You know my associate. He's the man that I work for, and is pretty, and he's a pretty smart guy, plenty smart. His answer might serve your purpose for the story better. W, I want your answer. R, you and we actually have a different God. Alright, so that's proven to you right there again. W, is that the answer to the Jews being God's chosen people? R, to our God, who's God? What God? Who's their God? The devil's, Lucifer. Alright? To our God, we are chosen ones. And they are. We are taught that from our childhood. W, that is an evasive answer. You know what I mean when I pose such a question, and I don't believe your reply or your explanation. R, okay, I don't give a damn what you believe. W, do your people believe that Jesus Christ, Yahushua, was a Jew? R, hell, we're going back to that again, are we? We've already gone through that. We've already gone over that. All right? W, that was before the tape machine was ever turned on. I don't think we recorded your reply to this question. R, well, I can't answer for all Jews. I guess you're asking what Jews throughout the world believe. W, yes. Jake could answer that better than I. W, please. I don't want Senator Javis' answer to anything. I want your answer. R, White. I know what you're searching for. I've known from the beginning, but that's all right. You and we are so apart. You're another breed. You're not of our kind. It's not secret that we do not respect you and of your kind. And he wants to put Genesis 3:15. W, are you referring to just our kind as Christians? Now you see that they keep using certain references of our Bible, but they won't use it has to be somebody else to use a reference for their bullshit, which they don't go by either. R, none of you Gentiles, Slakia, no, you Gentiles, all of you are our enemies. When I was a little boy, just a kid, very young, we were taught very wisely many centuries ago when the Jews were persecuted in almost every country and driven out of so many countries. Yeah, because we persecuted you, you fucking idiot. Some of the governments, I cannot remember exactly whether it was the government of France or Spain. Anyway, the government demanded that the Jews must become Christians or be expelled from the country. W, yes. I recall reading of this many times. R, was it France or Spain? W, probably both, but I vividly remember the story of Queen Isabella of Spain, how patient she was with the Jews, always giving them the benefit of the doubt until such time as her eyes were opened completely to the deception of the Jews. Please go on. R, anyway, the Jews at that time had a very wise rabbi leader, a world leader, and his advice was respected throughout the world. He said that the Jews must pretend to become Christians, to abide their time and make real sacrifices if necessary. We have always been ready to sacrifice a few thousand Jews in exchange for world leadership. This was the plan of the Jews who instigated World War II. Some Jews were sacrificed so that the persecution propaganda could continue. It was a small price and there was nothing wrong with that. I was taught that we Jews must become lawyers so we can control and strangle the courts. Alright, I was taught that we Jews, those so-called Jews, must become lawyers so we could control and strangle the courts, and even the judges unless they were Jews. We should become doctors and teachers and leaders in all the churches, and this goal has almost been fully accomplished. I said it before and I say it now, that we will have complete control throughout the entire world, possibly before I die. We are very successful in keeping you Gentiles confused. We create confusion. The word Babylon in Hebrew is Babel and means confusion. The Jews are masters at confusion because they are the ringleaders of the system known as Mystery Babylon. You're not stupid, White. You know that the Jews are successful because of our unity. We die for one another if necessary. We generously finance our own, so it is understandable how we govern not only in this country. We direct American foreign affairs. We are the super government of the world. Is that enough? W. Go on. I find what you're saying most interesting. Please go on. R. We are the most powerful international body of people in the world. Do you believe that? You speak with such confidence that I, Mr. R, interrupted. We can destroy any country's economy without their even being aware of it if we want to. I think this is what you want to hear. Most Americans are totally unaware that by the Federal Reserve System, their money has been stolen and the economy debauched.